Welcome everybody to the Palm Beach International Boat Show 2026. Today we are at the Bahama Boatworks booth looking at their all-new 21 and 23 foot center console. They are debuting here at the show. Today we're going to see if the new line of Bahama Boatworks lives up to their legendary reputation. Hop on board, let's take a look. What is going on, guys? Ryan from Livin here. Today we are probably one of the most talked about booths here at the boat show this year, the Bahama Boatworks booth. There's been a lot happening with Bahama. If you guys keep up with the industry, they were bought by a company called Twin Vee. They are now making the Bahama Boatworks brand and continuing on the legacy after Bahama Boatworks closed. And right here at the boat show, they've introduced two all new models, the 21, which is right next to us over there, and the 23 that we are standing on right now, which we are going to be taking a look at. Let's go start up at the bow. All the way up towards the bow, we are going to have our anchor locker. Let's take a look. We got a nice on a gas shock here. Looks like it's gonna be a little bit of an unfinished anchor locker, no anchor locker liner in there. Let's go ahead and close this up. Now we take a look around this boat. One thing that Bahama Boatworks is really known for was not skimping out on anything. They were top of the notch boats, absolute jewelry when you walked on them. So that's what we're gonna be looking for here today, really inspecting these boats to see if they're keeping up that reputation. We're gonna have a very nice U-shaped seating up here towards the bow. You can take a look. We'll give it a shot. Nice and comfortable. Pretty good forward situation over here. You could probably fit about 5 people or so. You're gonna have some seating with backrest as well. So that way you can have 2 forward-facing passengers to lounge out here in the front. We're also gonna have this little low profile bow rail so you can hang on while you're sitting up here. Underneath the port and starboard side seats, we are going to have a little bit of storage. You can take a look in here, nice and finished box. That is what we like to see. Now in the bow, we are going to have one in-floor hatch right here, and something you guys are going to take a look at, and you'll notice throughout this boat, and something Bahama Boatworks was known for, it was not having any exposed screws at all on their boats. Kind of was their look is to be completely screwless. Now so far there are noticing a couple screws like behind here on the headrest. You know, we have a couple of exposed screws, but they did try to implement that. You know, we have screwless hinges here for our in-floor box. So let's pop it open, take a look. Looks like we have a little fitment issue there, but we're going to have a nice finished box. Look like we have a recess there for a 5-gallon bucket holder. Looks like we'll be able to use this maybe for a little bit of insulated storage. Now we are going to have a big forward console seat here on this 23-foot boat. You can very easily fit 2 people. You can see we have these really nice retracting armrests that are going to have this really cool like gray with a little sparkle powder coat, and then we have a little teak finishes that kind of gives that extra little fancy look to the boat. We're going to have a really comfortable forward console seat, and underneath we are going to have, not exactly sure what's going on here. It's an unfinished coffin or unfurnished forward console seat. Not sure if this was just a boat show thing to get the boat here on time. Maybe there's supposed to be a hatch in there that they didn't get to. But we're gonna go ahead and put this back. That is what's underneath our forward console seat. Now space is everything, especially on smaller boats here like a 23-foot center console. This boat has an 8.6 beam, and they're really maximizing the amount of room on this boat by having a nice integrated leg set here. So you can see this leg set is a de-extrusion integrated into the console. Allows you to be able to walk around here and not be bumping into the leg set. gives you a little bit more room, makes the boat feel a lot bigger. One thing I also just noticed is going around this whole console, we have a little bit of a toe kick here. So you can see that my foot can kind of go underneath the console. That just makes it feel a little bit bigger when you're walking around because you have a little bit more space to put your feet. Little details like that, really nice to see. Now on the port side of the boat here, we are going to have our cabin, which is going to have a little itty bitty door, but we are going to go ahead, hop in the cabin. I will say this is probably the smallest door I've ever seen on a 23 center console, but we're gonna hop in. You can see we can fit, not easily, but we fit, okay. Whew. All right, that was a tight one, but here we are on the 23 Bahama, and we're definitely not able to stand up straight. I can tell you that. I'm quite hunched over and I'm 5'10". So it is going to be kneeling room only in this console. That is a lot more comfortable. Let's take a look at what we're looking in here. Like I said, this brand was known for their fit and finish, known for their quality, cutting no corners. So that is the kind of stuff we are inspecting here today, including all of our caulk lines that we have inside our console. We're looking at all that around the door. These are the kind of stuff we're looking at, getting in deep detail here at the boat shows. All this kind of fit and finish work. You know, just trying to see if it's really holding up to the name. So we have a little bit of storage over here. Looks like we might be able to fit a head in this cabin. It will get a little tight though. We're gonna have our key over here. Pop this on open, and we're gonna have access to our rigging. This is very important. Let's take a look at how they did. Everything actually looks pretty nice in here, which is very good to see. You got everything looks heat shrinked, everything looks buttoned up pretty nicely. We left a couple keys inside the cabin here. That's what happens when you got to make a boat show deadline. Here we are, but overall it looks pretty nice in here. We are going to have one little compartment here below that hatch. Looks like you're going to have access to a couple more components of rigging along with our batteries, nice and easily accessible for when you have to replace them. And as we're hopping out of this cabin, it's easy to show you while we're here. It's actually really cool. They have these little like recessed cubbies everywhere for their speakers, you'll see. So they're not like sticking out and bulging out, which isn't a big deal, but when you are leaning against the side of the boat, I feel it a lot of times, you know, when you're leaning against a speaker. So it's kind of nice that it's flush mounted in there. Just a nice little neat feature I want to point out. But we're hopping out of the cabin. Let's see. Okay. Oop, there goes the mic. Like I said, it's tight, but it's doable. Now taking a look at the helm of our 23 Bahama here. Starting off with our windshield, we are going to have a triple panel, feels like acrylic windshield here with a little opening vent there so you can get a little air in for those hot summer days. Looks like we're gonna have a little e-box up here. You're gonna have your VHF, your head unit control or your stereo control, and a wireless phone charger. Very cool to see. Our dash here, very impressive. They fit twin Garmin 16-inch screens here on a 23-foot boat. That is pretty cool, not something you see all the time. We've got a nice little Bahama Boatworks switch panel there. Black Edson wheel, very nice. Has a Seakeeper ride trim tabs. You guys know we love those. We've got a big sub here in the console face as well. And overall, a very nice helm here on this boat. And speaking of helm, it's time to look at our leaning post here, which, if you guys know Bahama, this looks very Bahama-esque. So we have a big old bench style leaning post, which you guys know I love. It's got the nice curves that you saw in a lot of the Bahama seats. It is very comfortable, and I kind of can put my feet on the dash just like this. And this would be a very comfortable ride right here. I would take this any day. So underneath our seat here, we do actually get a little bit of extra storage, you'll see. Kind of like a classic thing. You don't see too many boat manufacturers doing this style of storage, like underneath a leaning post like this, but it is nice to see they brought it here on the new 23 Bahama. So as we make our way towards the stern of the boat, and I was just saying to Senior Salty, there's only one in-floor hatch on this boat, which is not very common for a lot of boats nowadays. But let's go ahead and take a look at the back of our leaning post here. You can see we have 4 rod holders and 3 cup holders over here. Very nice style to this, I will say. The curved aluminum on it. Like I said, the gray with the little like gloss powder coat on there. Very nice looking. We're going to have a nice little rounded piece of fiberglass. Like I said, the style of the boat so far, they really kind of hit it, you know, with the toe kicks everywhere. You can see it even on the leaning post here where you can fit your foot underneath. they definitely hit the style, the curved leaning post. Big props to them on that. Now underneath all this, we are going to have one little Yeti cooler down there. And taking a look towards our transom, we are going to have a live well here on the starboard side of the boat. Nice deep live well. Take a look at that. We could stick pretty much our entire arm into there. Very cool to see. This would be nice on friction hinges. That would be a nice little change I'd like to see. Now one thing you've seen on a lot of the classic Bahamas are going to be this kind of, not something they're known for, I guess, but the transom seat, I guess they kind of started this trend of having a transom seat on top of the transom instead of like a fold down seat. So you can see it follows the same style as the leaning post or the helm seat, and it is very comfortable and a very nice spot for passengers to sit back here. And a nice little feature for that transom seat, we are going to have a fold down footrest. And below our transom seat, we're going to have our bilge access hatch, which is quite large, might I add, and so is our bilge access. There is not a lot going on in here yet. Maybe the boat's not fully rigged out because I feel like there's definitely some stuff missing in here. But you can see we have a saltwater and a freshwater pump. We're gonna have our bilge pump. We're gonna have our transducer, and it looks like a tank. I definitely think after looking back here, this boat's not fully, it might be fully rigged out. I don't know, it's kind of hard to tell. If it is fully rigged out, the big props on them. They've saved a lot of space in the bilge here. Now I wanted to put this all into one video for you guys, so we're gonna go hop over to the 21 and do a very quick rundown of that boat because it is pretty similar to the 23 here. Before we hop off the 23, you should know that is a 115 gallon fuel capacity. Like I said, an 8.6 beam, 24-foot length overall, and a max horsepower of 300. Twin Vee actually just signed a partnership with Mercury, so they have Mercuries on all these boats here at the shows. So that I don't know if they're gonna be Mercury exclusive exactly, but you're gonna be seeing a lot of these Bahamas with Mercuries. All right, here we go, speed run here of the 21 Bahama, because walking on it, it is quite literally the same as the 23, just shrunk down 2 feet. So you can see we have the same sort of U-shaped seating. This one is missing the backrest here for the bow seating. Maybe it is an option. We are still going to have our storage underneath the port and starboard side. Same anchor locker, same kind of seating style, low profile bow rail. Forward console seat looks the same here with the little teak accents. Let's take a look underneath. Underneath the forward console seat on this boat, it looks like they have the batteries actually in here, which is interesting. Didn't expect to see that. Taking a peek, we have our same console door. Oop, they locked us out. They locked us out of the console here, so we can't go and show you, but it has the same console door. We're gonna go ahead and assume it looks pretty similar. Now taking a look at our console here, it looks to be the same exact console as the 23. This one they did equipped with twin 12-inch Garmins instead of 16s, but there's definitely room for more. Same switch panel, same windshield setup, same e-box setup, pretty much the same exact console. This boat also has Lenco trim shafts, not Seakeeper ride, something to point out. We're gonna have our leaning post over here. You can see this is definitely a little bit different. So just to reiterate, here's the leaning post on the 23, the curved style, nice kind of upholstery there. We're gonna have a little bit more basic of a leaning post here, a little bit more simple. We're gonna have actually a very interesting looking fold down footrest, something I really haven't seen before. Kind of a fiberglass part on top of the aluminum, but pretty comfortable here. You can fit 2 people. I will say I definitely like the leaning post on the 23 better than this one here. It's just a little bit more comfortable, to be honest with you. And then taking a look back towards the transom here, we are going to have around a couple feet of walking space back here. So the leaning post is set a little bit further back, and you get a little bit less room in the cockpit here than the 23, but it is still enough room to walk around. We're going to have our nice transom seat like we had on the 23. Very comfortable. Like I said, if they have this transom seat in the 23, I'd like to see the same leaning post. That would have been a nice little combination there. But as we pointed out in the 23, there's still only one in-floor hatch here on this boat. Now taking a look at some of the attention to detail here, like you said, talking about screwless stuff on this boat. We have screwless cleats, little pop-up cleats here. We got screwless rod holders throughout. Like I said, there are still some exposed screws here on various features on the boat. Now this boat does have really high gunnels. You take a look here, it's above half between my hip and my knee. So you really feel locked and secure here, especially on a 21-foot boat, which is nice to feel. Now this boat is going to be 22 feet length overall, have an 8.6 beam and a 90-gallon fuel capacity. It is being equipped with a Mercury 200, which is the max horsepower for this boat. And just to give you guys a little idea, hardtop design on these 2 boats are going to be very similar. We got our spreader lights in the back. You guys can get an idea a little bit the craftsmanship here. I really like this rail that they put on the port and starboard side of both boats. Gives you something to hold on to there while you're running in some rougher seas. But overall, a nice little brother boat here to the 23. All right, I got these spec sheets right here for the Bahama 23 and the 21 to let you guys know the base price here at the Palm Beach Boat Show. Starting with our 21 base price is going to be $131,000. And for the 23, our base price is going to be $172,000. I will say, you guys know that I do a lot of these walkthroughs in this price range, especially in like the 23 foot. I will say 172 for a base price is definitely up there. You're gonna be kind of at the top tier for competitors in that market. So let me know what you guys thought here of the Bahama Boatworks. Does it live up to the name? Is it getting that value of $172,000 base price? By the time you option it out, you're probably gonna end up closer to that $200,000 mark. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Hope you guys enjoyed this video here. I know I definitely enjoyed it and was very much looking forward to coming to the Bahama Boatworks booth here at the Palm Beach Boat Show. If you guys enjoyed, make sure you hit the like button. Definitely consider subscribing down below. I'm gonna go ahead and link another video I think you're really gonna like over here on the left side of the screen. Thank you guys again for watching. Until my next video, remember to keep living salty.